Welcome to my channel. If you enjoy this story, don't forget to subscribe and like. Ethan Cole stepped off the rickety transport ship, his boots crunching on the stardust-coated platform of Cypher 3's spaceport. He hefted a heavy backpack, squinting against the blinding glow of Crystal Haven's towers, as if forged from molten starlight. Renting apartment 77 Starfall sight unseen through a galactic listing was a gamble, but at a price cheaper than a derelict asteroid, Ethan couldn't resist. After months surveying dead planets, he craved a place to rest, stow his gear, and maybe soothe the embers of memories still burning from Earth. Inside Prism Tower, the air carried a strange scent, scorched citrus laced with cold metal. The moonlit elevator whisked him to the 77th floor in a blink, and when the apartment door slid open, Ethan's breath caught. A Sypherian woman stood there, her skin shimmering like shattered glass under starlight, sapphire eyes blazing like a supernova's core, and silver hair cascading like a river of light. She wore a gossamer dress woven from star mist, clinging to curves that made Ethan fight to keep his gaze steady. "You're the new tenant?" she asked, her voice clear as a bell ringing through space. "I'm Aria Dawn, caretaker of this place." Ethan swallowed hard, forcing calm despite his racing pulse. "Ethan Cole," he replied, flashing a lopsided grin. "Thanks for the warm welcome." Aria tilted her head, studying him like a freshly unearthed relic. She led him inside, where walls glittered like a night sky, glowstone furniture hummed softly in midair, and the scent of starbloom flowers stirred both curiosity and ease. His bedroom opened to a breathtaking view, Crystal Haven's Nova Bridge arcing across the sky, ships darting like silverfish. "Nebula wave showers that way," Aria said, her eyes glinting with mischief. "Rest up, Ethan. I'll prepare a meal to welcome you." As she glided away, Ethan dropped his pack, exhaling as if he'd dodged an unseen trap. He stepped into the shower, where a column of silvery light enveloped him, washing away the grime of star-hopping. The cool waves soothed his weary bones, and he closed his eyes, lost in the sensation, until a soft hiss sounded, followed by Aria's startled cry. "By the shattered stars! Ethan Cole, what is that moving below your waist?" Ethan jolted, hands scrambling for cover, face burning like a meteor strike. "Aria!" he yelped, voice cracking with embarrassment. "When did you get in here?" But Aria didn't flinch. She stood frozen, sapphire eyes wide, staring as if she'd found a rare gem in a pile of rubble. "What is it?" she asked, voice brimming with curiosity and delight. "It looks like a tiny star beast, ready to leap out." Ethan took a deep breath, fighting the urge to melt into the floor. "It's part of a human male's body," he muttered, cheeks blazing. "Completely normal, okay? And please, I need some privacy." Aria blinked, then burst into laughter, a sound like light breaking over crystal. "Privacy?" she echoed, as if the word were a cosmic riddle. "Oh, I forgot humans have strange rules about bodies. My apologies, I only meant to say dinner's ready." She twirled, her dress sparkling like a galaxy, and left, leaving Ethan flustered yet unable to suppress a grin. He hurried through the shower, dressed, and joined her in the dining area. Aria had laid out an alien feast, plates of pearlescent food, glowing orbs, and a carafe of bubbling amber, stardew elixir. She gestured for him to sit, her eyes alight with unguarded curiosity. They ate, and Ethan quickly realized Aria wasn't just stunning, she was sharp, her mind cutting like a photon blade. She quizzed him about his surveys, the ruins he'd explored on dead worlds, and shared tales of Cypher 3, where people believed their souls merged with the Milky Way's light through the Starweave ritual. But soon, her curiosity looped back to their earlier encounter. "So that thing," Aria said, leaning forward, sapphire eyes blazing. "It's for creating life?" Ethan nearly choked, gulping elixir to hide his fluster. Partly," he managed, keeping his tone even. "But for humans, it's not just biology. Sometimes it's about emotion, connection, something deeper." Aria propped her chin, as if picturing a miracle. "Connection?" she murmured, voice soft as fractured light. "Like when Sypherians blend in Starweave, souls touching?" But you get closer, don't you? So strange yet fascinating. Ethan smiled, her innocence dissolving his embarrassment. Every species has its way, he said, eyes twinkling with mischief. Your story sounds like a dream itself. Aria's smile lit the room, but a shadow of secrecy flickered in her gaze. Perhaps one day I'll show you, she whispered, her voice low, a promise dangling like a star. Ethan's pulse quickened, a spark igniting in his chest. But the moment shattered with a deafening boom, shaking Prism Tower. Red alarms blared. Aria sprang up, her face shifting from soft to steely. Shadow Reavers, she hissed, grabbing Ethan's arm and pulling him toward a wall. A hidden void gate opened, revealing a cramped, dark chamber. They squeezed inside, breaths mingling in the tight space. Ethan felt the warmth of Aria's glowing skin, and despite the danger, a strange thrill stirred in him. What do they want? He asked, voice low but resolute. Aria met his gaze, sapphire eyes fierce yet fearful. The thing in your pack, she said. The Starheart crystal you carry. And maybe you, Ethan Cole. The void gate chamber was so cramped Ethan felt Aria's every breath like a warm wave through his thick surveyor's jacket. Her glowing skin cast a faint light, a tiny flame in the cold dark. Outside, Prism Tower groaned under distant explosions, mixed with the shrill screech of metal tearing, like a star beast clawing through steel. Ethan gripped his pack, fingers digging in as if the Starheart inside anchored his sanity. Who are the Shadow Reavers? He whispered, eyes locked on Aria's sapphire gaze, two pinpricks of light like a supernova's heart. She drew a shaky breath, shoulders trembling as if weighing truth against a kinder lie. Relic hunters, she said, voice sharp as a photon blade slicing darkness. Not Sypherian, not fully machine. Something in between, obsessed with artifacts like the Starheart. Her words hung heavy, a discordant note in their frantic escape. Ethan frowned, memories flickering of Alara 9, a dead world of crumbling temples and crimson sands. He recalled finding the small crystal in a stone alcove, glowing like a caged star, calling to him wordlessly. He never grasped its value, only knew it mattered, enough to break every surveyor's rule and take it. What do they want it for? He pressed, voice tinged with doubt, watching her closely. Aria turned away, her skin's glow painting the metal walls with swirling patterns. I'm not sure, she said, but her voice quivered, like a string plucked too softly. Ethan opened his mouth to push further, but a thunderous boom erupted, closer now, as if something had smashed the apartment's main door. A metallic screech followed, cold as a predator's laugh. Aria moved like starlight. She slammed a hidden button, and the void gate's floor hissed open, revealing a pitch-black tunnel plunging into the planet's heart. Go! She commanded, sharp enough to snap Ethan into motion. She shoved him down first, and he slid along the smooth chute, pack slamming his back. Aria landed behind him, graceful as star mist, her skin's light dancing on walls carved with ancient glyphs, shadows writhing like ghosts. Ethan grabbed her hand, her warmth piercing his chilled skin. You know the way, right? He asked, doubt lacing his tone, though adrenaline surged through him. Aria's smile was tight, a star fighting to shine before fading. I've lived here my whole life, Ethan. Trust me. Her words were both reassurance and challenge, and Ethan wasn't sure which he liked more. They ran through twisting corridors, footsteps echoing like whispers of the dark. Glyphs on the walls glimmered faintly, telling stories Ethan wasn't meant to hear. The screech of metal grew closer, Shadow Reavers, their steps heavy as stone on star metal. Ethan's mind raced, recalling years wandering dead worlds. He'd survived traps on Zephyr 4, mazes where one misstep meant death. Any traps down here? He asked, eyes scanning the glyphs for clues. Aria paused, sapphire eyes wide with surprise. Traps? These are ancient tunnels, but... Before she finished, Ethan touched a glowing glyph, feeling a faint pulse hum through his fingers, like a planet's heartbeat. Help me! He called, voice firm. Aria hesitated, then pressed her hand beside his, her skin's light merging with the stone's energy, forming a small halo. A sharp crack sounded, and a stone wall collapsed behind them, sealing the path. The Reavers' enraged howls echoed, then faded into silence, leaving only Ethan and Aria's ragged breaths. He turned to her, sweat beading on his brow. "You owe me an explanation," he said, half joking, half serious, a grin tugging at his lips. Aria's laugh rang like light breaking on stone, but her eyes held something deeper, a secret waiting to spill. "You're smarter than I thought, Ethan Cole," she said, pulling him onward, her hand tight in his, as if scared he'd vanish. "But not now. We need safety first." They ran on, the tunnels narrowing, air cold as a frozen planet's breath. At last they reached a small cave, where glowstone crystals cast a soft light, illuminating a mirror-flat pool reflecting a miniature Milky Way. Ethan sank down, checking his pack with a surveyor's care. The Starheart was safe, glowing like an unkept vow. He exhaled, but tension clung to his chest. Aria sat close, closer than he expected, her warmth seeping through his jacket, stirring unease. She tilted her head, silver hair spilling like a luminous stream, sapphire eyes blazing as if reading his soul. "Aren't you afraid?" she asked, voice soft as a stellar breeze. Ethan shrugged, feigning ease despite his quickening pulse. "Afraid of plenty, Aria," he said, gazing at the pool's dancing lights. "Sandstorms on Zephyr 4, collapsing temples on Alara 9. But Shadow Reavers?" He patted his pack, feeling the Starheart's weight. "I just don't want to lose this. It's important, even if I don't know why." Aria studied him, her gaze unreadable, a star hiding its true light. "You're strange, Ethan Cole," she said, voice low, teasing yet curious. "Strange in a captivating way." She leaned closer, and the air between them hummed, a taut string ready to snap into song. Ethan swallowed, struggling to keep his eyes from her sapphire depths. "Captivating, huh?" he shot back, a smirk flashing with surveyor's bravado. "You're not half bad yourself, Aria Dawn. But if you're dragging me through more dark tunnels, give me a heads up so I can brace myself." Her laugh echoed, bright enough to wake the ancient glyphs. "Brace yourself?" she teased, eyes gleaming like twin flames. "You're human, Ethan. I thought you thrived on adventure." She tilted her head, a silver lock falling over her shoulder, and Ethan fought the urge to touch it. "Adventure's fine," he said, voice dropping, playful yet firm. "Getting chased by half-man, half-machine freaks through a maze? Not on my itinerary." He paused, locking eyes with her, sharper now. "And you dodged my question. The Starheart, what is it? Why do you know so much?" Aria froze, just for a heartbeat, but enough for Ethan to notice. She looked away, her skin's glow dimming like a clouded star. "I told you," she murmured, voice small. "I'm not sure. But it's dangerous. And they won't stop until they have it." Her words hung heavy, an unfinished warning. Ethan's frown deepened, doubt coiling in his chest, but he didn't press, not now, not after escaping death's jaws. He stood, slinging his pack over his shoulder, eyes scanning the glowing pool. "Then we'd better move faster," he said, voice steady. "Got a safe spot in mind, or do I have to chart the course?" Aria rose, her dress shimmering like a pocket galaxy, a tired smile curving her lips. "Don't get cocky, Ethan Cole," she said, stepping close, her breath sweet as star bloom. "I know a place, but it won't be easy. Ready to run again?" Ethan grinned, heart racing, not just from danger, but from the enigma beside him, as alluring and perilous as the Starheart. "Lead on, Dawn," he said, voice low, edged with challenge. "But this time, no traps, got it?" She laughed, took his hand, and they plunged into the dark, her glowing skin guiding them like a beacon through fate's labyrinth. Ethan leaned against the cave's icy wall, eyes fixed on Aria. Her skin's light flickered faintly, a dying ember, but her sapphire eyes burned with resolve. "We can't stay here," she whispered, voice hushed, as if the shadows might eavesdrop. "I know a safe place, an ancient temple on Crystalhaven's outskirts, where Shadow Reavers won't dare tread." Ethan's brow furrowed, fingers tightening on his pack, feeling the Starheart's subtle pulse. "A temple?" he asked, doubt coloring his tone. Sounds more like another trap than a sanctuary. But her gaze softened, carrying a wordless vow, and he found himself nodding, despite his screaming instincts. They slipped from the cave as dawn's purple haze seeped through stone cracks, sneaking along hidden paths beneath glittering star-bloom canopies. Ethan followed Aria, heart pounding, not just from lurking threats, but from the secrets she carried, ones he was determined to unravel, no matter the cost. Dawn draped Crystal Haven in a violet veil, its gentle light filtering through prismatic towers, as if the Milky Way wept onto the city. But Ethan and Aria had no time to savor the beauty. After last night's escape, with darkness and the Reavers' screeches dogging their heels, they'd staggered to the city's outskirts, where an ancient temple hid among starbloom trees, their leaves glinting like meteor shards. The temple seemed carved from light itself, its walls etched with swirling souls beneath cosmic skies. Ethan squinted, feeling like he'd stepped into a dream woven from star mist, but the weight of his pack, and the Starheart inside, kept him grounded. Aria led the way, her steps light as photon silk on glowstone floors. "This is the safest place to hide the Starheart," she said, voice firm but eyes flickering with unease, as if guarding a secret too vast to speak. "No one dares defile this temple. It's sacred to Sypherians." Ethan's brow creased, unconvinced. He'd seen too many sacred sites on dead worlds, where ancient walls hid only traps and betrayal. Yet Aria's silver hair flowed like a luminous river, her faint smile beckoning, and he followed, drawn by the confidence in her every move. They passed through shimmering corridors, light from the walls spiraling into hypnotic patterns, each step pulling them deeper into the universe's heart. Ethan sensed a faint energy in the air, like a sleeping star's pulse. "What's the Starweave ritual?" he asked, voice low, masking the quickening beat of his heart as Aria glanced back, her sapphire eyes blazing like a supernova's core. Her smile was both gentle and sly, a star toying with shadow. "It's how we connect," she said, voice soft as a stellar breeze. "Sypherians believe their souls meld with the Milky Way's light through this rite. It's not just a ceremony, Ethan, it's a dance of souls." Her words lingered, a vague promise, and Ethan felt warmth stir in his chest, though he tried to shrug it off. They entered a vast hall, where dozens of Sypherians performed the ritual. Light erupted from their bodies, blue, purple, gold, swirling into a dazzling vortex, as if their souls danced on an unseen stage. Ethan froze, jaw slack, forgetting to hide his awe. He'd seen ruins of countless civilizations, but nothing so alive, so beautiful it made his heart ache, as if longing for something he'd never known. Aria tugged his hand, her fingers soft but firm, snapping him from his trance. "Try it," she whispered, her breath brushing his ear, sweet as star bloom. "Join the light. It's harmless, and maybe fun." Her sapphire eyes sparkled, half challenging, half inviting him into a world he didn't understand. Ethan's brow furrowed, surveyor instincts wary. "Harmless, huh?" he muttered, eyeing the swirling light. "Heard that before I fell into a pit on Zephyr 4. But her grip tightened, her smile a small flame melting his doubts, and he nodded, letting her guide him. The light enveloped them, cool yet radiant, like a waterfall of star mist. Ethan felt a strange energy ripple through him, as if his heart were opening, each beat syncing with something vast, profound. Aria stood close, too close, her glowing skin's warmth dizzying, and for a moment, he sensed an invisible thread binding them, not just to each other, but to the cosmos. She laughed, a sound like light shattering on stone, and Ethan managed a sheepish grin, feeling like he'd stumbled into a game with no rules. But joy vanished like a meteor's streak. A violent boom shook the temple, disrupting the light's dance. A metallic screech followed, and Ethan knew, Shadow Reavers. They'd found them. Aria stiffened, her gaze shifting from tender to icy in a heartbeat. "Impossible!" she hissed, voice trembling with anger and fear. Ethan acted on instinct, pulling Aria behind a glyph-carved pillar, his heart pounding like an overloaded engine. He scanned the hall, realizing the ritual's light wasn't just beautiful, it could be weaponized. "Aria," he whispered, voice low but steady, "this light Does it have a system? Like an energy grid? She blinked, startled, but nodded, a spark of understanding in her eyes. Yes, but what are you? Trust me, he said, a cocky grin flashing, born of surviving 1,000 close calls. He touched the pillar, feeling a faint hum, like a dormant pulse waiting to ignite. Aria laid her hand over his, her light merging with the stone, and a chain of photon lamps flared, blinding as a miniature supernova. Ethan closed his eyes, picturing light traps from Aria 9, and poured his will into the system. Light exploded, photon beams lancing like 1,000 knives, blinding the Reavers. Their furious roars filled the chaos, and Ethan grabbed Aria, sprinting through a side corridor, their feet skimming stone like specters in a light storm. The Starheart thudded against his back, a reminder their flight wasn't over. They burst through a hidden door, tumbling onto a starbloom-covered hillside, leaves glimmering as if singing their escape. Ethan gasped, turning to Aria, his gaze sharper than ever. They won't stop, she said before he could speak, voice low, heavy with worry. The Starheart's too important. Ethan nodded, but a question took root, sharp as desert thorns. Important how, Aria? He asked, voice quiet, doubt unhidden. You know more than you're saying, don't you? He stepped closer, eyes piercing her sapphire depths, searching for truth. Aria looked away, silver hair shimmering under dawn's violet glow. She began, then fell silent, lips tight as if wrestling herself. After a moment, she met his gaze, eyes soft but resolute. I'll tell you, Ethan. I promise. But not now. Trust me, just a little. Ethan's frown deepened, doubt warring with a strange warmth. A part of him wanted to believe her, despite logic screaming he was walking into a bigger trap. Fine, he said, voice low, a playful edge masking unease. But if you lead me into another light trap, I'm charging you for guide fees. Her laugh was light as rippling starlight, though her eyes held an unspoken secret. Watch it, Ethan Cole, she teased, stepping close, her breath grazing his cheek. I might make you pay another way. With a sly smile, she turned, leading him down the hill, into a journey neither could call simple. Nightspire's space bazaar hit Ethan like a fever dream lit by neon. Narrow alleys pulsed with green, purple, and pink, flickering like a cosmic beast's heartbeat. Shouts of vendors mixed with the whine of hover skiffs, the stench of scorched metal mingling with alien spices, crafting a chaotic symphony that made Ethan's head buzz. He clutched his pack, the Starheart's faint glow inside a constant reminder he was walking into a lion's den. Aria moved beside him, her dress shimmering like a pocket galaxy, but her sapphire eyes were razor-sharp, scanning the crowd like a hunter tracking prey. They wove through packed streets, dodging outstretched hands, a six-armed robot hawking glowing crystals, a Sypherian on a mini hoverdisk pitching budget soul trips. Ethan's brow furrowed, feeling like he'd stumbled into a madman's market. This is your idea of safe? He muttered, doubt lacing his voice, eyes flicking to a smuggler brawling with a tentacled creature. Aria shot him a glance, her smile sharp as a photon blade. Safe's relative, Ethan Cole, she said, voice light but edged with mischief. Nightspire's the only place Nova Sentinels operate without Shadow Reavers sniffing them out. Trust me, we need them. She quickened her pace, silver hair glinting under neon, and Ethan hurried to keep up, unable to ignore how she drew every eye, a star amid cosmic dust. They paused at a bar hidden behind a curtain of swirling photons, its light spiraling like a miniature vortex. Aria nodded to the guard, a burly Sypherian with silver-shimmering skin, and a secret door slid open, revealing a room bathed in faint purple glow. Inside, Kale Vortex waited, towering like a living spire, his bronze-gleaming skin glinting as if forged from a star's core. His eyes cut like knives, sizing Ethan up with cold dismissal, as if he were a worthless relic. You've brought trouble, Earthman, Kale said, voice rumbling like a starship engine, gaze locking on Ethan's pack, where the Starheart hid. Ethan shrugged, masking the sweat prickling his neck. Trouble found me, not the other way around. He shot back, meeting Kale's stare. Heard you can help. But I don't work for free. He opened his pack just enough for the Starheart's light to flash briefly, making Kale squint, a flicker of greed crossing his face. Kale's laugh was dry, like stone on steel. I like your nerve, Cole. But Nova Sentinels don't aid without a test. Prove your worth, and I'll grant protection. He gestured to a hollow screen, displaying a map of a Shadow Reaver archive, a subterranean fortress bristling with laser traps and cyborg guards. Steal their Starheart data. Survive, and we'll talk. Aria stiffened, sapphire eyes flaring with protest. Kale, no! She snapped, voice sharp but trembling. He's not Sypherian. He doesn't know. She cut off as Ethan raised a hand, his gaze steady, carrying the quiet confidence of a man who'd faced the void. I'll do it, Ethan said, voice firm, though his chest tightened like a dead planet's gravity. But if I pull this off, you owe me answers, about the Starheart, and why it's driving everyone nuts. He glanced at Aria, her eyes brimming with worry, but he didn't waver. He was done running, done with half-truths. If this was his shot to prove he was more than a drifter, he'd take it. The mission kicked off at midnight, night spire cloaked in eerie green haze. Ethan, clad in a sleek light armor suit from Kale, slipped through damp alleys, Aria at his side, silent but tense. The Reaver fortress lurked beneath an abandoned warehouse, its entrance veiled by a holographic shimmer. Ethan knelt, slicing through the code lock with a photon knife, his surveyor skills humming to life. He recalled Alara 9, dodging traps with nothing but a blade and stubbornness. Funny, he muttered, eyes glinting with mischief. Thought renting a place would get me a vacation. Aria glanced at him, a faint smile breaking through her worry. You don't know what rest is, do you? She whispered, a teasing lilt in her voice. Careful, Ethan Cole. If you die here, I'll be pissed about finding a new tenant. He chuckled, heart lifting despite the danger. They crept inside, darkness swallowing all but the hum of laser traps. Ethan moved like a shadow, eyes tracking crimson beams, calculating each step. He used a mirror shard from his pack to redirect lasers, clearing a path for Aria. At the archive core, he plugged Kale's decryption device into the server, pulse pounding as seconds ticked by. Hurry! Aria hissed, her skin's glow a faint beacon in the dark. The server beeped, data streaming in, and Ethan exhaled, then froze. A metallic screech echoed, and Reaver silhouettes emerged, eyes blazing like searchlights. Ethan yanked Aria behind a server rack, gripping his photon knife. Worst idea ever, he muttered, but a cocky grin flashed, born of countless tight spots. He triggered a light grenade from his armor, tossing it at the Reavers. Light erupted, stunning them, and he grabbed Aria, sprinting for the exit, data secure. But Night Spire was a war zone when they emerged. Explosions rocked the air, neon shattering under plasma bolts. Kale appeared, leading them through tight alleys. But amid the chaos, Ethan caught his low whisper to a lackey. She can't know. Not yet. The words stabbed Ethan's chest, igniting doubt like wildfire. They halted in a shadowed corner, gasping. Ethan pulled Aria close, eyes cutting like his knife. Explain, he said, voice low, tension unhidden. What's Kale hiding? And you, what do you know about the Starheart you're not telling me? He stepped nearer, feeling her breath, sweet but shaky. Aria shook her head, sapphire eyes glistening like starlit pools. I'm not your enemy, Ethan, she said, voice trembling with pain. I swear I want to protect you. But some things I can't say yet. Her fingers grazed his cheek, soft but cold, a silent plea. Ethan swallowed, heart torn between trust and suspicion. He wanted to believe her, to trust that sly smile and blazing gaze, but Kale's words were poison, rooting deep. All right, he said, voice low, a playful jab masking unease. But if you and Kale are playing me, I'm not just leaving the apartment, I'm taking your Starbloom plants too. Her laugh was faint but clear, like light on stone. Watch it, Ethan Cole, she whispered, stepping closer, her breath brushing his lips. I might make you stay just to water them. With a cryptic glint in her eyes, she turned, leading him into the dark, where Night's pyre burned and secrets waited to unravel. Dawnchaser's cockpit shuddered like a wounded beast, red lights flashing across the console, glinting off Ethan's taut face. He gripped the controls, sweat beading on his brow, eyes locked on the screen showing a meteor swarm ahead, cosmic rocks glittering, spiraling like a storm of light and shadow. The engines roared, blending with space's hum, a chaotic symphony driving his heart to pound. Aria sat beside him, her skin shimmering like a miniature galaxy, fingers dancing over the co-panel, sapphire eyes sharp yet trembling, a star fighting to shine through a tempest. They'd stolen Dawnchaser from Night Spire's docks hours ago, slipping through smoke and neon, leaving Reavers and Kale's cryptic whispers behind. Ethan still felt doubts sting, like a thorn in his chest. Aria's words, "She can't know. Not yet," echoed alongside her pained gaze when he demanded truth. But now, in space's vast dark, with the Starheart safe in his pack and stars embracing them, he knew it was time to face it. Ethan eased off the controls for a moment, swiveling to face Aria, eyes cutting like photon blades. "All right, Dawn," he said, voice low but steady, a teasing edge hiding tension. "I've run through mazes, swiped data, and now I'm on a ship that might blow any second. I think I've earned the truth. What's the Interstellar Syndicate, and why do you need me for this damn rock?" Aria froze, fingers halting on the console, her skin's glow dimming like a clouded star. She looked away, silver hair catching the cockpit's faint light, but her sapphire eyes betrayed a storm within. She began, voice quivering, each word heavy as stone. "I worked for them, Ethan. The Syndicate. They want the Starheart to harness galactic energy, a power to bend stars to their will." She looked up, eyes glistening like twin pools under starlight. "But I left them. I couldn't stomach their plans. Then I met you, and the Starheart." Ethan reeled, as if sucked into a black hole, betrayed yet burning with curiosity. "Met me?" he echoed, doubt sharp, but his heart raced at her gaze. "You said the Starheart only works with someone special. What's that mean, Aria? I'm just a surveyor, not some cosmic king." Her smile was faint but warm, dawn's first light. "You're not just a surveyor, Ethan Cole," she whispered, leaning closer, her breath grazing his cheek, sweet as star bloom. "I don't know why, but the Starheart reacts to you. I felt it the moment you walked into the apartment. It chose you." Her words hung like prophecy, and Ethan felt a strange pulse, as if the Starheart in his pack whispered to him. He opened his mouth to press further, but a shrill beep from the console cut through. The screen flared, showing 3 gleaming warships marked with Syndicate sigils, daggers slicing spaces dark. "Hell," Ethan muttered, diving back to the controls, hands tight. "Guess the Syndicate doesn't like being ditched." Dawnchaser jolted as plasma bolts struck, red light flooding the cockpit. Ethan gritted his teeth, memories of piloting through Zephyr 4's sandstorms flashing, dodging rocks twice Dawnchaser's size. "Hold on!" he shouted, yanking the controls, sending the ship into a sharp arc, diving into the meteor swarm. Rocks spun, crashing with thunderous roars, their glow forcing Ethan to squint. He flew like a dancer, weaving left, banking right, feeling the ship's pulse as his own. "Aria!" he called, voice taut but cocky. "Anything on this ship to shake them?" She didn't answer with words. Aria stood, her dress a whirlwind of light. She pressed a hand to a wall panel, her skin's glow surging, flooding the ship's systems like a photon river. A hum sounded, and Ethan felt a jolt as a light shield encased them, deflecting plasma like a cosmic mirror. He turned, jaw dropping at the sight. "How'd you?" he stammered, mingling with suspicion. Aria's smile was weak, as if the act cost her dearly. "Sypherians can merge with light," she said, voice hoarse. "But it's not easy." She swayed, and Ethan caught her, pulling her close before she fell. Her warmth seeped through his jacket, his heart racing, not just from adrenaline, but from her sudden nearness. They broke free of the swarm, leaving the Syndicate ships trapped in the chaos. Dawnchaser drifted in quiet space, only the engines hum and their heavy breaths remaining. Ethan held Aria, feeling her tremble in his arms. "You're the key, Ethan," she whispered, voice faint but fierce, eyes blazing. I don't know why, but you're everything. Ethan swallowed, chest heavy with questions. Key, huh? He said, keeping his tone light, teasing to ease the strain. If I'm the key, you're the trickiest lock I've ever met, Dawn. Not sure my surveying skills are up for it. Her laugh was soft, like rippling light, though her eyes held secrets. Try, Ethan Cole, she murmured, leaning closer, her breath brushing his lips, a dangling invitation. I bet you're better than you think. Ethan grinned, torn between doubt and warmth he couldn't deny. He knew she hid something, knew the Starheart was a bigger puzzle, but her sapphire gaze made him want to unravel it all. Her, the stone, himself. Watch it, Aria, he said, voice low, challenging. If I crack this lock, you'll owe me more than a Crystal Haven lease. Her smile blazed like a supernova, and in that moment, amidst spaces dark, Ethan felt they weren't just fugitives, but two souls finding each other, defying every starstorm ahead. Aria pulled back, sapphire eyes flashing with new resolve, as if she'd made an irreversible choice. We can't run forever, Ethan, she said, voice heavy with prophecy. Starforge, where the Starheart was born, is our only shot at answers. To understand why it chose you, we have to go there. Ethan frowned, fingers tightening on his pack, feeling the stone's faint pulse, as if agreeing. Starforge? He repeated, doubt sharp, but his heart quickened at the thought of her light, the light he'd chase anywhere. Sounds more like a trap than answers, Dawn. Her smile was soft yet daring, a star guiding through shadow. Maybe both, she whispered, fingers brushing his hand. But together we'll face it. You ready? Ethan swallowed, eyes locked on her, and despite gnawing doubt, he nodded, letting Dawnchaser leap into space, toward an ancient fortress waiting among the stars. Starforge floated in the void, a colossal metal husk glinting like the bones of dead stars. Its spiraling corridors, awash in eerie green light, hummed with the wordless whispers of ancient souls, a forgotten song from the universe's dawn. Ethan tread carefully, boots scraping on shimmering stone, his pack heavy with the Starheart pressing like fate on his shoulders. Aria walked beside him, her skin glowing faintly, a small torch in the dark, but her sapphire eyes were steely, resolve laced with dread, as if she sensed the shadows ahead. They'd reached it after days on Dawnchaser, dodging syndicate ships and brutal starstorms. Aria explained Starforge was the Starheart's birthplace, a forge where ancients shaped light into power. But as they entered the metal maze, Ethan felt a strange current ripple through him, as if the citadel watched, judged, whispered in a tongue he couldn't grasp. This place gives me the creeps, he muttered, a teasing lilt masking tension. If this is your vacation spot, Dawn, I'm canceling my lease. Aria glanced at him, her smile sly despite her taut gaze. Careful, Ethan Cole, she teased, voice soft as a stellar breeze. You might love it once you see its secrets. Or, you'll run like a surveyor caught in a sandstorm. She brushed closer, shoulder grazing his, and Ethan couldn't stop warmth sparking in his chest, despite the looming threat. They ventured deeper, corridors tightening, green light shifting to deep violet, like a dying star's blood. The whispers grew sharper, and Ethan clenched his fists, feeling the walls breathe, observing their every step. A metallic screech split the air, and Kale Vortex stepped into view, towering like a living spire, no longer purely Sypherian. His bronze skin wove with glowing circuits, one eye blazing like a Reaver's searchlight, his left arm a humming energy blade. You're late, Cole, Kale said, voice thunderous, edged with mockery. Starforge waits. So do I. Ethan shoved Aria behind him, drawing his photon knife, eyes hard as desert stone. Late? He shot back, a cocky grin flashing. Just giving you time to practice, Vortex. Looks like you need it. He scanned Kale, noting the Reaver tech fused into him, a monster of metal and ambition. Kale's laugh grated like stone on steel. You don't get it, Earthman, he said, advancing, blade humming a threat. The Syndicate wants the Starheart to reshape the galaxy, no flaws, no chaos. And you, he pointed at Ethan, eye flaring. Your DNA carries the Maker's mark. You're the final piece. Kale's words hit like a fist, stunning Ethan. My DNA? He stammered, glancing at Aria, seeking answers. She bit her lip, sapphire eyes pained, as if she'd known but couldn't say. I tried to protect you, she whispered, voice trembling. He's telling the truth, Ethan. You're special. No time to process. Kale lunged, energy blades slashing like lightning. Ethan rolled, dodging by inches, heat grazing his cheek. He sprang up, knife clashing with Kale, sparks flying like tiny stars. Aria didn't stand idle, she moved like light itself. Raising her hands, her skin's glow erupted, weaving a Sypherian energy vortex, ensnaring Kale like a photon storm. Run, Ethan! She shouted, voice strained, but he shook his head, eyes fierce. Not leaving you, Dawn. He growled, charging Kale, every surveyor trick he'd learned on dead worlds alive in his moves. He dodged, struck, danced a deadly waltz, but Kale was relentless, each blow cracking stone. Aria kept fighting, her energy slowing Kale, but Ethan saw her fade, her glow dimming like a dying flame. Aria! He yelled, heart lurching as she staggered, collapsing, sapphire eyes fluttering shut, breath shallow. Rage and love ignited in Ethan like a supernova. He rushed to her, cradling her, her warmth a faint promise she still lived. Don't leave me, Dawn, he whispered, voice breaking. He turned to Kale, eyes ablaze. You want the Starheart? Come get it! He tore open his pack, touching the stone, and a surge coursed through him, as if it fused with his blood. The Starheart flared, white light flooding the citadel, amplifying Ethan's will. Power roared within, a fire from his soul's depths, and he charged Kale, each strike carrying a star's might. Kale roared, but he couldn't resist. The Starheart's light fried his circuits, his blade fizzling out. Ethan drove his knife into Kale's core, and with a blast, Kale collapsed, a smoldering heap of metal. Victory was fleeting. Starforge quaked, walls fracturing, whispers turning to screams. Ethan sprinted to the central console, a massive crystal pulsing like the Citadel's heart. He smashed his knife into it, shattering the Syndicate's network, but the stone floor buckled, green light splintering like glass. Time's up! He shouted, scooping Aria, still unconscious, and bolting for the exit, the Starheart searing in his grip. They raced through collapsing corridors, stone and metal raining like meteors. Ethan held Aria tight, her faint heartbeat his only anchor, praying, not to stars, but to his own grit, that they'd make it. You owe me answers, Dawn, he muttered, a wry grin breaking through fear. Don't make me dig them up alone. Dawnchaser's cockpit glowed softly, filled only with the hum of engines and Aria's faint, steady breaths. Ethan sat beside her, back against the pilot's chair, his hands clutching hers as if letting go might lose her to the void. The console's light bathed her face, her shimmering skin like woven meteor dust, sapphire eyes, though weary, blazing like a supernova's heart. Starforge was gone, a storm of fire and metal dissolved into nothing, but its echoes lingered, Kale's screams, the Starheart's blinding flare, and the moment Ethan thought he'd lost her. Aria stirred, her fingers tightening on his, and she opened her eyes, searching his face like a wanderer seeking home. You did it, she whispered, voice rough but warm, a faint smile breaking through that tugged at Ethan's heart. You saved me, saved us. Ethan grinned, awkward but genuine, like a surveyor fresh from the galaxy's worst sandstorm. Saved you? He teased, lightness masking the relief flooding him. Just didn't want to get evicted for missing rent, Dawn. Those starbloom plants aren't cheap. He leaned closer, brushing a silver strand from her forehead, her skin's warmth tingling his fingers. Her soft laugh rang like light on crystal, though it sparked a small cough. You never stop, do you, Ethan Cole? She said, a playful glint in her voice, but her eyes were gentle, like starlit pools. I owe you answers, and maybe a better meal than Night Spire's slop. Ethan's brow lifted, eyes twinkling with challenge. A meal? After mazes, reavers, a cyborg lunatic, and a fortress blowing up, you think a meal cuts it? He paused, gazing deep into her eyes, voice softening to rare sincerity. I don't need food, Aria. I need the truth. All of it. Aria bit her lip, gaze drifting across the cockpit, as if hunting a place to hide her secrets. She drew a shaky breath, and when she spoke, her voice trembled, a star fighting to shine before fading. I told you about the Syndicate, she began, fingers gripping his. But not everything. The Starheart's not just power, it's a key. To something bigger, older than Starforge. I don't know where it leads, but it chose you, Ethan. And I'm scared if you keep it, you'll never find peace. Her words chilled him, like a cosmic whine through the void. He glanced at his pack, where the Starheart lay, glowing like an unkept oath. Chose me? He muttered, doubt sharp, but his heart raced, recalling Starforge's light merging with his will, as if they were one. I'm no hero, Aria. Just a surveyor who likes digging ruins and dodging trouble. She leaned closer, her breath brushing his cheek, sweet as star bloom. You're more than a surveyor, she whispered, sapphire eyes fierce, seeing something he didn't. You faced Kale, saved me, made the Starheart burn. You're Ethan Cole and I. She faltered, lips trembling, and Ethan's heart skipped. And you? He asked, voice barely a murmur, eyes locked on her, as if she held every answer in the universe. Her smile was soft yet sure, dawn's first ray. I love you, she said, voice small but unwavering, a vow among the stars. Despite secrets, dangers, I love you, Ethan. Ethan froze, the cosmos fading until only she remained, Aria, her blazing eyes and smile worth abandoning galaxies for. He leaned down, kissing her, gentle but fierce, etching the moment into his soul. She kissed back, arms looping his neck, her glowing skin's warmth afire in the dark. When they parted, Ethan grinned, heart brimming with a new truth. He loved her too, secrets and all. Together, we'll hide the Starheart, he said, voice firm. Find some far-off planet, bury it where no one can touch it. Deal, Dawn? She nodded, eyes shining like a pledge. Deal, she replied, fingers lacing his. But fair warning, Ethan Cole, if that planet's got no star loom, you're planting a forest. He laughed, the sound filling the cockpit, chasing shadows. Done, he said, leaning close, nose brushing hers. But if I'm planting, you're learning Earth cooking. No burning the ship's galley, got it? Her laugh sparkled like breaking light, and they sat, hands entwined, staring through the viewport at endless stars. They planned a green planet at the galaxy's edge, where the Starheart could sleep forever. But as Ethan primed the engines, a strange beep sounded from his pack. He opened it, and the Starheart pulsed, emitting a flickering signal, like a cosmic heartbeat calling something, or someone, from afar. Ethan glanced at Aria, eyes glinting with doubt and curiosity. Hear that? He asked, teasing to mask unease. Or is this rock just trying to impress me? Aria frowned, sapphire eyes scanning the stone, as if decoding an ancient script. It's saying something, she murmured, voice taut. I don't know what, but it's not random. She looked up, meeting his gaze, a faint smile curving her lips. Our journey's not over, is it? Ethan grinned, heart racing, not just from the signal, but from the enigma beside him, a puzzle greater than the Starheart, one he'd spend a lifetime solving. Not over, he said, voice steady, hand squeezing hers. Together? Together, she answered, eyes blazing like a vow, and they launched Dawnchaser into the stars, light glittering ahead, promising that whatever challenges waited they'd face them, with love, grit, and a surveyor's sly spark. Verdant 2's sky unfurled like a jeweled tapestry, thousands of stars twinkling like gems strewn across black velvet. Ethan lay on an old blanket, hands behind his head, watching a meteor streak by, leaving a glowing whisper of the cosmos. Beside him, Aria curled close, head on his shoulder, her shimmering skin catching starlight, as if she were part of the heavens. Their small home, a cabin of starloom wood and glowstone, stood steps away, its soft light blending with the hum of the glowing forest around them. Months had passed since Starforge, since they buried the Starheart deep, and for the first time, Ethan knew something new, peace. But peace, he'd learned, came with chaos, especially with a Sypherian roommate. Ethan! Aria's voice rang from the cabin, sharp with panic and annoyance. "This kitchen's burning again! You said Earth's pizza was easy!" He chuckled, rolling to his feet, strolling inside with a grin born of mischief. Aria stood by the stove, hands on hips, sapphire eyes flashing frustration and embarrassment. Smoke curled from what Ethan guessed was a charred pizza, its burnt smell mixing with Starbloom's sweetness. She wore one of his old shirts, too big, sleeves rolled to show skin like fractured glass under light. "I did everything right," she insisted, almost defiant, pointing at the mess: flour, Verdant 2's strange fruit, and something like cheese but unnaturally glossy. "This oven hates me." Ethan stepped close, wrapping an arm around her waist, pulling her from the chaos before she torched the place. "Not the oven, Dawn," he teased, voice low, playful. "You just need patience. Pizza's art, not rocket science." He kissed her forehead, her skin's warmth sparking against his lips. Aria huffed, but a smile broke through, brightening the room. "Art?" she echoed, eyes glinting challenge. "If it's art, teach me right, Ethan Cole. Or I'll cook Sypherian food, and trust me, it's spicier than a plasma storm." She leaned closer, nose brushing his, and Ethan couldn't hide a goofy grin, heart racing like their Reaver chases. "Deal," he said, voice dropping, sly. "But if I teach pizza, you learn an Earth song. No butchering the tune like last time." He recalled her attempt at a folk ballad, turning it into a starship's whine, both laughing until their sides ached under the stars. Her laugh rang like shattering light, and she shoved him lightly, darting to clean the table. "You're too picky, surveyor," she said, tossing him a glowing fruit. Ethan caught it, laughing, and in that moment the universe shrank to this cabin, this woman, and a love worth every trial they'd faced. But Verdant 2 wasn't just for laughs and kitchen fires. Daily, Ethan and Aria worked side by side, planting Starloom, patching the roof during star rains, and sometimes digging deeper to ensure the Starheart stayed hidden. Ethan often stood by its burial spot, a patch of glowing moss, feeling a faint pulse, like a cosmic heart. He didn't tell Aria, but he wondered if they truly escaped it, or if it waited silent, like a star yet to burst. One night, under a sky thick with stars, they lay on a hill overlooking the valley. Aria held Ethan's hand, fingers locked tight, her glowing warmth a reminder she was here, despite secrets once between them. "Ever think of going back?" she asked, voice soft as a stellar breeze, eyes on a distant constellation. "Out there, among the stars, not to fight, but to see what the universe hides." Ethan turned to her, eyes sparkling with curiosity and love. "Exploring?" he teased. "Living with you's adventure enough, Dawn." "But," he paused, gazing skyward, stars beckoning. "If you want to go, I'm with you. New planet or just to keep you from torching the ship's kitchen?" Her laugh echoed in the stillness, and she rolled over, chin on his chest, sapphire eyes blazing like a vow. "Someday," she whispered, voice dreamy, painting with words. "We'll soar through galaxies, find places no one's seen, and I'll mangle every song of yours, just to make you laugh." Ethan kissed her, deep and slow, sealing the moment in his heart. Her lips were sweet, tasting of starbloom and something indefinable, like their love. "We've found home," he said as they parted, voice low, sincere. "Anywhere, as long as it's with you, Aria." Her smile was a supernova, and she nestled against his shoulder, eyes on the sky. "And you, Ethan," she murmured, hand squeezing his. "Under the stars, we're the greatest wonder the universe has seen." But as they lay in silence, Ethan felt a faint tremor from the ground, subtle but real, like a pulse from the Starheart's grave. He glanced at Aria, but she smiled, eyes half closed, unaware. He said nothing, only held her closer, yet a question rooted in his mind: was the star they buried truly asleep, or was it waiting, glowing, to call them back to the cosmos?